This year marks 50 years of ECOWAS, the Economic Community of West African States, a regional bloc built on cooperation, peace and shared development. In Oxford, former Nigerian President Olusegun Obasanjo, now the African Union Special Envoy mediating the conflict in the Democratic Republic of Congo, addressed students, scholars and academics at the University of Oxford.
Your Excellency, thank you for your time, your vision, your advocating for African peace and stability. We've seen that today on your presentation. A lot of African young students at Oxford, they were waiting to listen for your enlightenment, and you enlightened us today. You led ECOWAS, and you introduced a free movement within ECOWAS. And your introduction today, you mentioned something very crucial. You say, we've seen Ukraine war moving into West Africa. What do you intake? Where you intake on that with regard to...
Well, what I have found in recent years, dealing with situation in Ethiopia, having my hand a little bit because I was appointed special envoy of the AU for the Horn of Africa, and the Horn of Africa comprises of Sudan, Kenya, Ethiopia, Somalia, Djibouti, Eritrea. Now, what I found is that the hands that are in these countries, wherever you have, they have many. Take Ethiopia that I handled for almost 2 years. I had to go to Brussels. I had to go to Paris. I have to go to Washington. I had to go to New York. I have to go to Moscow. I have to go to Abu Dhabi. Now, this is as, and I didn't go to Britain because I was talking regularly to the Minister for Africa in Britain, but otherwise I would have gone to Britain. So this is the situation. All you need to do is to ask or to allow Russia troops into any of these countries, which can happen if it has not happened, and then allow Ukraine troops into another country. Then you have rebels or insurgents in one country getting support from Ukraine and government getting support from Russia. That is now again a possibility. So when I talk of proxy war, that is the sort of thing I have in mind. And again, if it is two different countries and the country that Russia supports, just for the sake of argument, belongs to ECOWAS, and the country that Ukraine supports belongs to AES, then ECOWAS will say, look,
nice. A recipe for war.
Yeah. It's a very real possibility, and we should not allow it to happen.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. The other question is, I know in your journey as a leader in Nigeria, I'm talking as a Nigerian now, you did a lot with young people during and you still are doing, yes. And it's good to see that. And we when you think of, when we look at politics, the dimension that is going at the moment, a lot of young people are now showing interest beyond what I would say in my generation, what they would show interest in, but the direction in which that interest is tilting towards is where the question lies. You were once a military leader, and then you also was a democratically elected, president in Nigeria. But we see young people, they're interested in politics these days, but it's almost like is a fight between democratically elected leadership president and what we see in other parts of West Africa. So what would you say to young people who I think there's that confusion, there's that interest, but they're struggling in terms of which direction we should go in?
It's difficult. But I say this. First, and I say this even when I was in government, don't go into government or into politics without a second address. Don't go into politics without a second address. Because if you go into politics without a second address, you will not be a man or a woman of integrity. That is the truth. When you will go whichever way the wind blows. And so that is the first thing. The second thing, I've always said, look, if you wait until you get leadership handed over to you on a platter of gold, you will wait for eternity. You won't get it. Only very few, on very few occasions, that you will get people who genuinely will say, oh, look, come, let's get you together and all that. Okay. So I say to young people, you have power. Your power is in your number. Now, if you have power and you know how to use that power, you will get there. And I always say, you have to be positively disruptive. Positively disruptive. If you come, push her.
Okay.
When we make a bit uncomfortable for you, there are two possibilities. You will either give room or you will be nasty. Now, and that's why I say we have to be positively disruptive. Now, and everybody wants to enjoy life. When life becomes a little bit unenjoyable, you want to know why it's enjoyable. If you remaining there makes life unenjoyable for you, and you will rather live there to continue to enjoy life. That's also part of what can be the result of being positively disruptive. I'm not talking, I will never advocate violence because you never know. But you can be effective if you go into history, you still have that where Gandhi, he did it. And even in South Africa, they started for a long time, ALC, and then when, of course, they saw that the government, the apartheid government was becoming more vicious. But I believe that you can, and then build your case, build yourself up, build critical mass. Critical mass.
Your Excellency, your legacy goes beyond Africa. So how do you want to be remembered?
That I was in this world, thanks to God, and God gave me opportunity, thanks to Him again, and I use all that opportunity to the best that I can. I thank God.